Apologia. The first definition, the original classical meaning of the word apology, a formal spoken or written defense, argument to show that some idea, religion, etc. is right, i.e., an apology for the parameters of one's argument to the exclusion of others. The more common usage of the word, an emotional appeal, to feel regret for a fault, or to ask a person's pardon. The cycle of life. The first thing I would like to apologize for is when I said life is a failed experiment. For how can we know that it isn't the way life is supposed to be? That the nature of life is a cycle in which, where we are at present, it burns itself out and there is nothing left. Parentheses. Or that if we destroy the earth, then we are just doing what comes natural, that is to be expected, a part of life. Adolescent love. As for my romantic life, I apologize to the girl whom I loved and who inspired me, obsessed me, to write these poems. She is a good person who did nothing wrong and deserves none of my bitterness but love's complaints. Male menopause. In this regard, I apologize to the reader for being so immature, that I never grew up, that I never quite made it to being a man, that I am a 65-year-old teenager, adolescent, so self-absorbed I can only write about myself in the throes of male menopause. A case of retarded development. It must be understood that I interpret, relate to, the world through a 2-year-old boy's anal perspective, who has yet to arrive at the 3-year-old social perspective. So my anal grandiose anger at times is unfair and inappropriate. I would distinguish the difference between the anal and the social as follows. The anal is egocentric and self-absorbed in perspective and has a grandiose version of reality that all women should love me, if not in this lifetime, then in the next. Whereas the social is not infinite, but is circumscribed by the perimeters of society. DC Transit Bus. I am embarrassed by my self-centeredness, my lack of story, characters, and a novelist distance from the world. I chose, at 20, while riding a DC Transit bus inundated by public dialogue, not to write it down, but to write my own thoughts instead, more Pascal than Faulkner, which is why I chose to write in the first place. Character study. I am my own best novel. As a child, I always felt I was special, not just the typical anal grandiosity of a 2-year-old child, but a special calling, like someone who feels he has special gifts, the poet's ration, to offer as teacher, savior, bodhisattva. The Prodigal Son. So I apologize to thee from where we all come from and where we all go, for not having devoted my life more to your service. Perhaps in another setting it might have worked, or if I had been sated in sex, I might have risen above it and become a mystic and progressed to Buddha consciousness. Autism. As for the genetic factor of autism, which I think of as a predisposition one is born with, a threshold, though we are all born with the same neurological network, some, seemingly boys at this age, have more of a disposition for this disability than seemingly girls, cf. males as being stereotypitous to nature. The age of women. It also supports the notion that females are superior to men, multitasked from cave to office with hormonal adjudication. at least at this juncture in human history, the age of woman. Then too, women can play it both ways, traditional, dependent upon the male, or liberated, emotionally independent, depending on what suits them best. Don Quixote. For the male, there is no choice. If he wants the fair company of a female, he must figure out a way to win her attention. My strategy of a romantic poet was that a woman would fall in love with me because I was so gentle and sensitive, was a complete bust. I would have fared far better as a bower bird, decorating my bower with pieces of glass that glittered like diamonds when the sunlight passed through, and stacks of sheep vertebrae and shell casings near the entrance, a little strip of red plastic to set things off. And don't forget to hang the aluminum pop-tops. They can never get enough of the pop-tops. The builder of concepts. Man builds concepts as an attempt to possess the world. Women do not exist in time, and so already possess it. Waiting for the number 10 bus. 65 years old, carrying 3 gallons of water, 6 cans of evaporated milk, 3 cans of red kidney beans, and 2 cans of whole tomatoes. The Erie Canal. I am so tired, I must have been a mule in a former life. Homage to Jon Donne. They must understand weather patterns are not topical, but well-established systems that change climate for at least a score of generations, with tropical storms from the Pacific striking the south, and monsoonal floods and tornadoes where there'd never been one before. And the climate shift is the result of the Industrial Revolution, that greenhouse gases are trapped in the upper atmosphere and alter the body chemistry of the planet. For lest we forget, all things are interconnected, as no man is an island, and when I take leave of you, it is like a little death. The Apocalypse. I wouldn't wish the world on anyone. Apache. Tonight I met an Apache grandmother, her son a great photographer who would not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in school, and with an impeccable eye for composition. He is but an acorn off the tree of her proud and dignified heritage. She even has a nice butt in her blue dungaree jeans, with a full streak black hair that is absolutely magnificent to go with her swift cheekbones and honey-colored skin. She is the goddess Athena, as she moves among the throng with an unforced grace and beauty, and I feel honored just to be in her presence. Oh, but to have been a young brave and to have lived with her in her hogan, fathering her children, going out to hunt buffalo for blood meat, days without speaking, knowing everything. She has pride without arrogance. She is alive to every occasion. I would have been the luckiest man alive to have lived with her in her hogan. She hugs her friends as a hug, not as a social happenstance. She gives herself cautiously, but fully, like a deer drinking water. She is so far above me, she makes my nose bleed. A Kiss from Jesus. It's called Waiting for the Bus After Dark. Death, the great mystery. Birth, the great mystery. Where did we come from? Where do we go? The ineffable. Though there are many answers, nobody knows. I look out to when I am no longer here, no answer. I look into when I wasn't here, no answer. In between is life, no answer. In between is life, no reason. The great mystery before and after, just a dream that I am here, no answer. The deep distances of space, no answer. The coming and the going, no answer. The end of the universe, no answer. The beginning of the universe, no answer. And what lies before the universe and after the universe, no answer. The when, where, and how, no answer. No matter where I look, no answer. The great mystery, no answer. The great mystery, no answer. From the entry from a Kiss from Jesus that I had in case or something. Okay, this one is about the economy, the USA economy. Bedtime story, Humpty Dumpty, before the Great Fall. Once upon a time, after the post-war boom, while the rest of the world was either decimated or pre-industrial, America was the only game in town, exporting everything under the sun, with a GNP unprecedented in human history, and with the highest standard of living the world had ever seen, which only grew bigger and bigger and better as the wages kept going higher and higher until the world would undersell us, and the fringe benefits kept getting bigger and better while the rest of the world would expect nothing. With annual paid vacations, early retirement, life insurance, health insurance, split-level homes with 2-car garages, an interstate with highway systems that took you wherever you wanted to go, or stay at home and watch TV, a football game with the latest kitchen appliances, until the only thing missing from the American dream was not to have to work at all. So productivity fell off, then pride and quality, and the golden age of America came to an end, and we became the greatest debtor nation instead. Oh, but to look up into that brown Mexican face. On the bus, 2 Mayan women with their mouths frozen open like the pre-Columbian vases at Dumbarton Oaks, their mouths agape in the pain and ecstasy of childbirth. Inca goddess. This lovely middle-aged Mexican woman, her brown skin so soft I can scarcely resist touching it, her full lips full moons like the Inca goddess. As in my mother. The idea that all women are weak, as in my mother, and need a man, as in singular, in marriage, as in symbiosis, in a lifetime commitment is ridiculous, especially by today's standards. For a woman can go through life in a series of relationships, as in a series of adventures, some long, some short, some for money, some for love, and all points in between, and live long and successful lives, as in emotionally independent lives, without ever having to give herself to a man, as in my mother. Edward Hopper, an artist. It's not that I would ever want to paint like Edward Hopper. My artistic bent was for abstract expressionism in the world of modern art, and I would never settle for realism no matter the form. But there is, as the art critic remarks, a haunting, an alienated melancholy about his paintings, a quiet power and tone of solitude that I can look at but find it hard to believe how he could paint such frozen effigies of man, lost in time and lost in space, a surreal realism that pushes beyond Dali and captures the essence of the human condition without blinking. A pathos I thought could never be painted, a zone more like a Zen koan, a practice in meditation. Aesthetics. In the cafe, a woman so beautiful, I can't believe it, everything so round and firm where it's supposed to be, and everything drawn in like the small of her back where it's supposed to be, too. My brain disconnects. How can such beauty exist? I can't believe it, as I am swept away in a tsunami of loveliness. Women are too narcissistic to love anything but themselves, and life requires it. Hi, Mag. What do men want? Men want to be told that women love their dicks. What do women want? Back massages. How does a guy make a girl horny? Pay her. What if she says, "What do you think? I am a whore?" Then buy her a gift. And don't bring chocolates or flowers. Buy her something substantial, like $1,000 or more. I guarantee the girl will give you better sex. Faust's Folly. A man who tries to control a woman through money has sold his soul to the devil. As for me, I never signed a petition that said money is part of what it takes to win a woman, that sex and money are interconnected, that a woman's juices are so synchronized. I somehow, even now, always thought I was worth it. It's called the bathtub of time. The world slips down the bathtub of time. All nations are well represented. All races and ethnic groups have sent their best delegates. All creeds, cultures, religions have sent their best apocalyptic orators to present their case and justify their existence. And all other manner of man, animal, and beast, as outlined in the Old Testament, are in attendance as the world slips down the bathtub of time.